Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Charles. So in front of me, I have one of the parts that we pulled in that last parts flipping video. What I want to do for you today is that next step and show you guys how to actually sell a part online. Now, this is going to consist of a couple of things. First off, we need to get this part pretty clean. Now, we're not making microchips or anything like that, but we do want to get it as clean as we possibly can. The method for cleaning largely depends on what the part is. For something like our valve cover here, a degreaser or a brake parts cleaner is going to work really well. If you're trying to sell a seat or a sun visor, brake parts cleaner is probably not the best thing. You'll want to use some kind of interior cleaner. Now, when it comes to cleaning something this size, I actually like to work in one of these type of work bins. This keeps all that brake cleaner or degreaser contained in one spot, and we don't have a huge mess on our workbench. Cleaning something like this is super easy. What I do is I'll saturate the entire part in either degreaser or brake parts cleaner. If you're using brake parts cleaner, make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area. Then I'll take an old toothbrush and just give it a gentle scrub. That should be enough to get any dirt, any oil residue, any gunk off of our valve cover. Something to keep in mind though, oftentimes cleaners can actually damage gaskets and seals. So in the case of our valve cover, I'm going to pull off the seals so that they don't get damaged. We will have to keep in mind though that we put in our listing that gaskets are not included. Now, if you want to go next level, you could take some Scotch-Brite and clean up a little bit of this oxidation here where it says VTEC and Honda Motor Corporation and the Honda logo. That's really up to you. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. The more we spend nitpicking every little thing, I feel like we're more likely to actually mess it up. So just get a really good solid base clean. But we don't want our valve cover to look like we've tried to do a polish job. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to flip this and make some money. Now that we have our valve cover pretty well cleaned up and any old gaskets removed, it's time to go ahead and take some pictures. If you're not sure what type of pictures and what angles to present in your ad, here's a really easy tip. Go over to eBay, look up similar parts, look up another valve cover, and see the angles that the professional big sellers take their pictures at. This will give you a really good idea of some of the best angles. Typically, I like top down, I like one kind of facing the front, and then we want to make sure we take a picture of each side, and on our case, we're going to flip the valve cover over and take a picture that way. Another very key thing for your pictures, if you're not including it with the product, don't put it in the picture. So if we didn't want to include these wire guides in our sale, we need to take them off before we take our pictures. We definitely don't want to misrepresent the item that we're selling. Now for the pictures, using your cell phone works pretty darn well. We'll just go ahead and get our phone right above our valve cover here, and we'll go ahead and snap a few pictures. If you have a tripod for your phone, that's going to be a really good idea too. That way you're not wiggling your phone around while you're taking the picture. Also, if you do have a tripod, go ahead and set the timer on your phone. That way you don't have to actually touch the phone to take the picture. Now that we have our pictures taken, the next step I like to do is get it ready to ship. I'm not going to seal the box all the way, but I want to get it wrapped up. Now, luckily, the box gods have smiled upon me, and I got a shipment of other car parts the other day with a box that fits this valve cover absolutely perfect. If you're going to be doing this with any regularity, really start focusing on saving boxes. That way you don't have to worry about finding a box or anything like that. Same thing with our packing material. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the valve cover, lay it in this paper, and I'm going to just go ahead and wrap it up a little bit. Next, we'll take our box, we'll take our wrapped up valve cover, and we'll go ahead and get it tucked nice and tight and snug and ready for shipping. Now, I'm not going to seal it up until I have it sold. That way, if for some crazy reason I have to take the valve cover out and take another picture or something like that, it's not that big of a deal. But do make sure that you do a really good job packaging and securing whatever you're shipping. That way somebody doesn't get it and it's damaged. Next up, we are going to get our ad up on eBay. Since we took our pictures with our phone, we're going to primarily use the app to set up our ad. Now, if I have my way in a perfect world, I actually like to use the app and the full web version. This way you can have your photos right there. The app actually has a really great photo editor that allows you to remove the background from your picture, so if there's anything weird, you don't have to worry about it. However, I think overall the functionality of setting up the ad is quite a bit easier when we use the desktop. Let's go ahead and get our ad started. We'll start from our home screen on our eBay app, and we will click on My eBay. From here, we'll click on Selling and go to the selling screen. Next up, we are going to list our item, the blue box at the top. Now here we're going to type in what we're going to sell. In our case, this is a Honda Accord valve cover. We can change this later, so you don't need to be super specific on this part here. That's going to take you to the category screen. Now it's going to suggest a few categories for you. In our case, it's actually suggesting cylinder head and valve cover gasket. Go ahead and select the closest thing. We can come back and change this later. We're going to add the details of our item. Of course, it's going to be used if we pulled it out of the junkyard. Next, we're going to add our photos from our camera or our photo library, depending on if you want to take them right in the app or if you take them beforehand like we did and then put them on eBay. I always recommend taking them beforehand so you have them on your phone just in case something weird happens and the app crashes. Go ahead and select whatever pictures that you took that you want to upload into your ad. I mentioned they have a really cool editor that you can remove the background from your pictures. This takes a little bit of getting used to, but it works super well for our project here. It's going to have you frame the item in our case, the valve cover takes up most of the frame. It does a pretty good job of automatically doing the background removal. Then you can actually zoom in and refine and fine-tune the picture a little bit if you need to. You want the picture to look as nice as possible. Once I have all my pictures looking exactly how I want them to, I'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and click Save for Later. Now, if you want to finish out doing your ad right on your phone, you can definitely do that. All the features are right there for you. But I'm going to go ahead and slide over to the desktop version and complete my listing there. Of course, make sure that you are signed into your eBay account. Go over to Sell. And what should happen is you should have in your drafts, you should have your ad listing that you started to make. We'll go ahead and click on that. We have our title here, 2000 Honda valve cover. Now we can actually leave it like that. We have our specifications. Of course, we already selected that it's used and it's from a Honda. If you know the part number, really good idea to drop the part number in. We can also click our more details and add a whole bunch of stuff, a different finish, interchange part numbers. If you know any of this stuff, you definitely want to fill it in. We see our photos down here. We can also rearrange them if we want. I actually like this order that I have them in. Now, when it comes to compatibility, I really recommend trying to do a little extra, make sure that you have all the compatibility that may possibly apply to that part number if you know it. If you don't know it, don't worry about it, but if you can, definitely do it. So we're gonna go to our Honda. We're gonna look for an Accord. Let's say we don't know exactly what year that this valve cover applies to. What we can do is we can search for another 2000 Honda Accord valve cover. And then what I typically do is I look for the sponsored posts. This way, you're probably looking at someone that's a big time seller. And we see right here in this listing for a brand new one, look at how expensive these new ones are, valve cover for 1998 to 2002 Honda Accord, 2000, 2001, 99. So I'm actually gonna click on this ad and we're gonna get a lot of information off of this ad because it has all the information for what we're trying to sell too. We can also scroll down and look, this part is compatible with 22 vehicles matching 2000 Honda Accord. So this is all the different trim levels of Honda Accords. There may also be other Hondas that use this same valve cover. So now we know it's a 98 to 2002 Honda valve cover. I'm gonna copy this title. We can come over to the box on the right and go 2000 to 1998. Then if we click our box with say 2000 Honda Accord, it shows 14 available. Open that up and make sure that you're only selecting the applicable car. So we have two different engine choices. We wanna make sure that we deselect the 3-liter because that's not what our part is for. We're also gonna make sure we do that for the other models as well. Once you have all the appropriate vehicles, go ahead and save that. This will populate a listing down in our ad like this one so that you can see all the vehicles that it's applying to. Now, here's where we're going to write our description. This is optional. However, I think we could tune this up a little bit. For what to put, this is where I'm gonna turn to this description for this valve cover as well and see what they say. So this is a brand new valve cover. This one does include the spark plug seals, but the gasket, sealing washers, and oil cap are sold separately. We'll come back and we have a 2000 Accord valve cover, condition is used. We're gonna type in 1998 to 2002 Honda valve cover. I'm gonna put that it is, condition is good, used. I'm gonna put that it includes spark plug wire retainers and mounting hardware. And then I'm gonna put that it does not include valve, cover gasket, spark plug, seals, and oil fill cap. Now when it comes to pricing, this is where we wanna do our research. We know here that a brand new one is going to be almost $300. Now, clearly we're not gonna sell a used one for the same exact price that a new one costs, but what we will do is we will copy this title again, drop it right here in our eBay search box so that we can pull up a couple other ones and see what we have. So here's another one, valve cover for a 98 to 2000 Honda Accord. Look at, they copied that title straight away from the brand new listing. Smart. If we look at the picture on this one, boy, ours really looks like it's in way better condition than this one. They have it listed for $100. They also have a make offer, which we definitely want to turn on. And they're charging $6 shipping. Another thing we can do is we can come down here to sold items and see what they're actually selling for. So it looks like this one sold for $35 plus shipping. This new one sold for $300. Because ours looks like it's in quite a bit better condition than this one, I'm gonna go ahead and put it at, I think, 60 bucks plus $10 shipping. $60, we'll do it as a 7-day. We can set a reserve price since we definitely don't wanna lose money of, say, $25. You can decide for yourself if you want to put a buy it now. If we know what the weight of the package is, we can go ahead and put that in. This will give us an idea of roughly what we're going to be looking at for shipping. I would figure on probably $20 for something like this. So we can just click USPS for 20 bucks. Buyer pays calculated shipping. I'm fine with leaving it that way. Buyer pays flat rate of 20 bucks. We can do that too. So we can select that we pay shipping. We can select that the buyer pays shipping based on the calculated cost, or we can just put a flat shipping of, say, $25. Really up to you, whatever makes the most sense for the item that you're selling. Before you come down here to the bottom and click list it, keep in mind there is a listing fee that you're gonna have to pay. This one's $5. Go back through and make sure everything is right. So I'm actually going to tune up our title a little bit and just make it look a little bit nicer. Double check all the information that you have. eBay is also pretty good about giving you some information that you may want to add in your listing depending on what you're selling. So take a look at that here. If you find that it's right for what you're selling, add it on. After you have all that stuff dialed in, confirmed, make sure you spelled all the words right, and then go ahead and list your item. Now you've also done the hard work on getting all this information together. You may also want to look at posting things on places like Facebook, Craigslist, OfferUp, and really expand your opportunity to sell parts. As if going to the junkyard wasn't enough fun, getting some parts and putting extra money in your pocket makes it even better. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time.